Access restricted. Rep number 2022 Guardians. Agent Kaz 2014. Subject: the morality of Guardians and crushing ghosts. Welcome back to another Vanguard report. Kaz PhD here, and today I am filing an accountability and discussion report. Certain events have transpired, especially on Savathun's throne world, which have led me to question my own morality. In an effort to hold myself accountable and provide transparency, I am providing details here. For a full recap of my latest campaign into Savathun's throne world, please see my previous Vanguard report. In short, as I pursued the Hive God of Lies, I encountered obstacles which led to decisions. Decisions I need to deal with now, work through, and communicate with others. The most recent and egregious of these decisions was in the destruction of Hive ghosts. You see, hidden research, along with my own, has revealed that some ghosts, those who have long been lonely and unable to find their light bearer, many of these ghosts have become antisocial, turning away from humanity, the Vanguard, even the Traveler. Presented with new purpose by Savathun, some of these ghosts have chosen to revive the Hive. Scouts continue to report their numbers, and I have encountered many. We're calling them the Lucent Brood. I'm still unsure what the criteria is for ghosts choosing their light bearer, but obviously their criteria is either wider than I expected, or I have missed something. For ghosts to revive our darkest and deadliest of enemies, it calls into question what it means to be a guardian. Many guardians believe that we are special, that the light is special, that we were destined and chosen to fight for the Traveler. But does that include the Hive? More than a week ago, I would have considered the entire line of questioning as close to heresy as one could get these days. But now? Going over what we know, or what we think we know. Memories obtained from Savathun's throne world revealed that the Krill, were initially tricked. While the Books of Sorrow tell us that the Krill were warned of impending doom and chose to dive into the deep, receiving their worms, their power, and thus beginning their horrible empire, we have learned something new. They were lied to by the Witness, and believing the lie, their destiny was carved out for them. If this is to be believed, the light was originally intended to be gifted to the Krill. By the Traveler's design, the Krill may have evolved into the Hive, but along a completely different track. Who knows what direction they would have gone? Would they be like Guardians? Would they have protected and served their own as we have? Would their empire be a growing umbrella of protection? Or would their empire have been just as bloody as it is now, but illuminated by the light? As I pursued Savathun, I was confronted by these Lucent Hive. They blocked my path, they shot at me and my fire team. They tried to take us down. Like almost everything in this universe, it was a live fire exercise. No communication, no remorse, no hesitation. From them. When I first discovered the Brood, I was shocked. To see the light wielded by a Hive Knight was, well, it felt like a perversion. I defended myself, took out the Knight. Then, its ghost appeared, and brought it back. I knew then that I had to make a choice. I needed the area clear to investigate the portal and continue tracking Savathun. I knew that the ghost and the Knight would not stop, would not give up. I had no light-suppressing tech, but to be honest, I didn't try as hard as I could have to find a different solution. We are Guardians, after all. So after taking out the Knight, I crushed the Hive ghost. I know. Ghosts are a limited resource. I know they were gifted by the Traveler, but what else could I have done? Since being resurrected, I have had one true purpose, and that has been to serve the light, the Traveler, and the last city. My hobbies, my calling, Most of my life and purpose involve using weapons and power against those who would hurt us. Don't you think I would want to do something different? Was I a soldier in my previous life? Or was I a peaceful person? Compared with many guardians I know, I am definitely more pensive. The warrior mentality comes much easier to others, much more directly. But for me, I only settled into the role by accepting that I was defending others. An easy justification. Does it change anything? Meeting Finch, a former Hive ghost, only weighed on me more. Here was an example of a ghost who changed sides and changed back. Therefore, it is possible. These Hive ghosts could abandon their hateful ways. But they haven't. And many of them give me the impression that they won't. There's been a lot of talk over the years as to what makes us guardians. The Red War taught us that it wasn't even the light, because we still did our duty, still fought without it. The events on Europa have been some of the most troubling. Guardians investigated the pyramid and the ziggurat, and many have not only come to understand the power of stasis, but to embrace it. I understand that the official policy is a ban on the use of stasis. I also understand that many use it anyway. I also know that Honor and her Praxic crew have been hunting down the worst offenders and their ghosts. However, I have my own issues with Honor's perspective and approach. First, let me address one point. While I have always personally tried to be a good person and to act for good, and while my journeys as a guardian have led me down dark roads before, this is the first time I'm filing such an accountability report. Why is that? Well, stasis was less of a concern for me. After investigation, I came to realize how similar it was to the light. Paracausal power has a specific tone, a feel to it that I recognized. I was cautious, studious, and while I do not fully understand the physics or mechanisms behind stasis, nor if it really does serve some greater master, I see it as nothing more than a tool, a type of ammunition against the forces of darkness. So why do I see ghosts any differently? Well, I think it's a question of intention. I did not see stasis as a problem because we use weapons all the time, and that's all I saw it as. Like it or not, we are guardians, we are soldiers, and I committed myself to keeping humanity safe. It's all a balance, because the same line of thinking that could justify using a dark force for good may also justify the means to serve the end. I and all guardians have to be careful about justifying dark roads, as we all know the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Ghosts also carry a more spiritual association. Whether you truly believe or not, we know we have our power, our very lives, thanks to the Traveler. The Traveler made ghosts. Those ghosts revived us, and we in turn gave ourselves purpose to protect the Traveler and humanity. Our entire society is literally built around it. The idea of ghosts which have willfully chosen to become our enemy is heresy enough. It is antithetical to our way of being. It paints a less clear picture of us and our intentions. The other reason is that it is all so fresh, so immediate. These ghosts, as far as we know, have only recently turned, and we have seen an example of them turning back. It provides us with the potential for all ghosts to turn back, if given the time and opportunity. Even if they didn't, we could use light-suppressing technology. The Praxic Order and the Cabal Empire have the means to restrain ghosts, and that is one route we could take to rehabilitate them. However, again, before we make decisions, I think we need to get to the heart of the matter. What does it mean to be a guardian? That question may seem out of nowhere, but we need to answer it in order to better chart our path ahead. Well, Ikora said recently that guardians are protectors of humanity, and I agree. The title originated with the city age, when light-bearers chose to protect the traveler and the people living under it. Through everything I have seen and done, that has always been my objective. But the definition needs expansion. Do the Awoken count as humanity? Do the Elixni of House Light? Do the Cabal? I argue, yes. Humanity, in this case, refers to all the people who wish to live in peace. All of those allies I have included, and any which demonstrate the same intention going forward. Guardians are protectors of that peace, and as such, Guardians are presented with the philosophy of war and soldiers. Philosophically speaking, it is difficult to view war and soldiers from the same viewpoint as civilians, as peacetime people, because while it is generally easy to understand that violence against others is usually wrong, bad, and not allowed, war and soldiers exist under different conditions. Sometimes, we are subject to the bad situations we find ourselves in. In attempting to find guidance, I sought out philosophical texts wherever I could find them. Empress Keitel was most kind in letting me access her archives, but while their traditions and rituals can be quite complex, the Cabal viewpoint is fairly straightforward, especially when war is concerned. The Elixni had little written work to provide me. Much was lost in their whirlwind, but the tales and teachings Ido was able to exchange with me were not so different from what I have seen in the city archives. Similar considerations of utility and intention, and the value of life. In the end, I ended up finding wisdom from a fellow Guardian. I like to spend as much time as possible in the bazaar. They got a great ramen shop there. But more importantly, the people are always there, hustling about. Taking my lunch in the tower, hearing those people going about their day-to-day, all within view of the last city and the traveler, it usually helps, no matter my worry. While there, frowning over difficult texts I had downloaded from the city libraries, a voice distracted me from my troubles. "What's up?" I lifted my eyes and noticed a hunter standing before me. She had a friendly face. "May I join you? What are you working on?" "I'm Sasha." After introducing myself and my problem, Sasha laughed. "Yes, why are we here? One of our oldest questions. Look, you're never going to find all of your answers, and too much time looking may keep you from doing good. The world is full of poison arrows. It's not up to us to question how they were made, but remove them and stop them from being fired." We went back and forth on this for a while, agreeing to the idea of Guardians preventing harm, but I still had a hard time justifying what we do, at least how we do it. "Here, maybe this will help. Just, return it to the commander when you're done," Sasha said. She smiled, took some dumplings from the table, and left. What she slapped on the table was an ancient book, the Mahabharata, a Hindu text, from Commander Zavala's personal collection. It had a section entitled Just War Theory. I won't bore you with the details, but basically, the text tried to understand the philosophy of war by following several principles: authority, cause, intention, and last resort. Authority referred to the legality and justification of the one sending soldiers to war. Guess that's the Vanguard, and to a higher extent, the Traveler. Cause refers to the question, is war an appropriate response? Have we tried avoiding it? If war is unavoidable, intention refers to the morality of war. Is it appropriate to prevent further suffering? I could see why Sasha was reading this. It is similar to some concept she was sharing. Finally, is war the last resort? The only choice left to us? In the sake of Guardians, these are questions we should always be asking. Fighting should be the last resort, but I admit it is often the only one left to us. Our enemies are vast and relentless. Still, as Commander Zavala did during Season of Chosen, if we can find another way, we should pursue it. In terms of cause and intention, the Vanguard usually does a decent job of pointing Guardians in both the right direction and for the right response. While not infallible and definitely needing our support, the Vanguard usually does a good job of sending Guardians to deal with threats and then pulling us out when necessary. Authority. There's the trouble. Guardians and the Vanguard have had trouble on authority for some time now. Guardians, too, have at times lost faith in the Vanguard, and both have begun questioning their faith in the Traveler. If the Traveler originally intended the Hive to be gifted the light, what does that mean for all the battles we have fought? What was our purpose? Was the Traveler right? Was it wrong? Commander Zavala and I have argued over this time and again. I respect him, but he has been too limited in his perspective. The Drifter, while loudmouthed, was partially right. We cannot blindly follow the Traveler, just as we cannot blindly trust stasis. While I respect those who worship the Traveler and still believe in its cause, all I am saying is that we should carry some question with us. We should be ready to consider if our way is the best way. We should keep ourselves open to new ideas and new possibilities. If Hive Ghosts want to defect back to our side, great. However, in the meantime, we should remember why we do what we do. While some may chase loot or glory or mysteries, at the end of it, when push comes to shove, we are guardians. We are protectors of humanity and its allies. We should give our enemies a chance to change course, but if they don't, we are justified in acting in the best interests of our allies. As another pre-Golden Age philosopher, Karl Popper, once said, unlimited tolerance can lead to the extinction of tolerance. While it would be nice to tolerate the Hive, we really can't. Not until they show any sign of stopping their advance, any sign of halting their butchery. In the end, anything can be justified if you try hard enough. But rather than find an excuse, I hope I have begun to find, well, peace. Hive Ghosts know what they have done, and they have made a choice. Recent events have opened my eyes as to what was possible, but more importantly, what my purpose is. I will give a hesitant enemy mercy. I will do anything I can to avoid war. But if you support someone looking to harm my people, steal our greatest defense, I have to work to protect them. As I bring this report to a conclusion, I find it less satisfying than others I have written. Philosophy, morality, and ethics are difficult to define and explore. Every point has a counterpoint, and the debate rages on. However, this report stands as part of the open communication I have with my fellow Guardians, and with the Vanguard. I believe we should be doing more to find avenues toward peace, and I commend the efforts made so far with the Elixni and the Cabal. Perhaps radio communication could be established with Hive Ghosts to offer them a chance. Maybe, in the coming days, with Savathun gone, maybe some Hive will make different decisions. Maybe, in the long run, I could put my weapons down for good. But until then, I will continue to question myself, even a little. Question my fellow Guardians, and the Vanguard, only as long as I need before taking a firm stance to protect our people. Should other Guardians come across this report, please let me know your thoughts. How are you feeling these days? Has your faith wavered? That concludes my report. As always, I ask that you be safe, be kind, and I'll see you all next time. Bye now.